Greetings from Oxfordshire in the UK. It's a huge pleasure to speak to you today, and thank you so much for inviting me. So this thesis examined the effects of age-related changes to the female singing voice over a period of 4 years. There were 54 volunteers in 3 groups: professionals, amateurs and non-singers. The amateur singers were the main cohort, and they were tested over 4 years and provided the longitudinal data. Comparative data was drawn from all 3 groups tested at the start of the research. The examiners noted that it was the largest study to date and has made a significant contribution to knowledge in this field. It is a timely study of growing importance in an aging population, and the tests employed were innovative in their conception, design and application. The literature suggests that age-related voice changes could affect the respiratory function, vocal folds, vocal tract, tongue, teeth, temporomandibular joint, hearing, digestive system, neuromuscular system, and other changes which are caused through menopause. The vocal functionality was tested in these areas: breath control, agility with and without words, onset, resonance, mode of phonation, vibrato, intonation, pitch range and the spoken voice. And this list was devised from the pedagogical literature from the 18th century onwards, my own experience of 30 years of working with the mature voice, the literature review and questionnaires given to choral conductors and singing teachers. Age-related changes which affect the respiratory system can start in young adulthood and continue into old age. Elastic elements of the lung degenerate, parenchymal tissue is lost, alveolar ducts and bronchioles dilate, chest wall compliance decreases, intercostal muscle mass and force are reduced, costal cartilages ossify, thoracic vertebrae degenerate causing kyphosis, and age-related changes to brain function may affect breath regulation. This results in a decrease of expiratory flow and lung pressure, slower inhalation and exhalation, a decrease in vital capacity and total lung volume, difficulty in maintaining and regulating subglottic pressure, which lead to difficulties in executing musical requirements, laryngeal constriction, forced or breathy phonation, and insufficient breath for long musical phrases. The volunteers were asked to repeat this test several times, and the speed was reduced on each repetition. The slowest speed at which the task was achieved was noted, and data are reported as beats per minute. A paired samples t-test was run as a stringent statistical measure for assessing change across different tempi. The comparative element of this study comprised comparing the first and fourth data collection of the main cohort with the 2 control groups of professional singers and non-singers. A comparison of the first data collection with the main cohort with the 2 control groups shows that they were not significantly better than either group. However, a comparison with the fourth data collection shows that the main cohort was significantly better than the control group of non-singers, but not the group of professional singers. However, this data indicated some improvement in comparison to the professionals than that achieved from the first data collection, but the change was not statistically significant. The individual results showed that none of the non-singers or amateur singers were able to match the lowest score of one of the professional singers, which was 30 beats per minute, but several of the amateur singers came close at 33 beats per minute. This chart shows the longitudinal data for each individual participant as well as for the group as a whole. 28 of the 32 participants had improved over the 4 years, 3 had stayed the same, and only 1 had got worse. This is a box and whisker chart which shows the distribution of that same numerical data for the combined group of volunteers who were tested once a year for 4 years. This offers general information at a glance about the group's data symmetry, askew, variance, and outliers. A paired sample t-test was performed which compared the first to the second data set, the second to the third to the fourth, and finally the first to the fourth. This demonstrates that the main cohort achieved statistically significant improvement over time. Qualitative data from the participant questionnaires and the research log suggest the following training methods were effective. A semi-occluded vocal tract exercise through a straw in water was effective for improving or maintaining total lung volume and controlling subglottic pressure. Lip trills were effective for training both increase and decrease of subglottic pressure. Methods of low abdominal breathing were effective for improving respiratory function, and aerobic activity can improve respiratory function, as those singers who were physically active produced the best results. The conclusions were the main cohort was able to achieve statistically significant improvement to their respiratory function over time despite any age-related changes. Targeted breath work has a positive impact on respiratory function, and breath is the power source for the voice and enables the voice to function with minimum effort and maximum efficiency, allowing the singer to execute any musical requirements such as crescendo, decrescendos, dynamic control, and musical phrasing with ease. Thank you for listening to me today. If you have any comments or questions, please do email me at inspectorvoice@gmail.com. Thank you.